one. And this is coming, and this is what this movement is about, for people to wake up and for the leaders to be honest and just. We're going to bring out some differences here. We've established a lot of unity, and I'm looking for clarity. This isn't to emphasize the difference. Cobra, you have stated that the artificial intelligence that Corey kind of delineates, that I would call the plasma scalar field mind control network, which is multi-dimensional and is reinforced by physical technology. But you say that it can be turned off and is part of a scalar plasma fence, which is linked to certain cabal members and Chimera, including toplet and stranglet bombs. The point being that this is a sophisticated supercomputer that reacts so fast that it appears to be sentient. Can you talk about that version of your understanding of this control network?
Okay, it's a matter of terminology. Basically, what we have here is sentient organic intelligence that uses technology, that actually uses technology as its body. And fuzzy logic software program is part of that body. So one person could say, hey, this is an artificial intelligence. This program thinks and makes decisions, when in reality there is a being behind that program that makes decisions and is assisted to a great degree by that program. So if you would look from a certain perspective, it would appear as the program is making decisions, but there is always an entity, a living being, free will, which is behind those decisions. And the Chimera group has invented so-called artificial intelligence millions upon millions of years ago, and have tried to spread its infection throughout the galaxy through scalar plasma networks. They were successful to a certain degree, but I would say that the most evolved cosmic races know how to deal with that.
Thank you. Corey, you have a slightly different version. Could you talk about your understanding? And I guess some of this has come from the glass pads, but you've stated that it's its own thing, kind of like the Terminator or the Borg, as we said. Can you share the information? You've said it's actually infected multiple galaxies. Can you comment on your version, and then we'll have you comment on each other's?
Some of what Cobra said sounds like a little bit of a mixture of two technologies, if I'm understanding correctly. I could be misunderstanding. There is a scalar mind control grid that has been around the Earth as long as there have been humans, walking around. And we can simplify it and call it like a mind control grid or a control grid. There are two giant cruisers or ships that are not occupied. They are controlled by basically what we would call a computer program. And they complete the circuit of this control grid, most of which is down on the Earth. And this is something that can be shut down. They've talked about shutting it down, but they think that shutting it down is going to be very rough on humanity, is the excuse they're using about shutting it down. But the fact is that the newer special access program groups have studied this technology, and they're mimicking it, and they're using it for their own means. Now, the interdimensional AI signal that I'm talking about is a signal that was broadcast, and it came in from another reality many, many millions, if not billions of years ago. And it cascaded its way through multiple galaxies. And in the manner I've described, it has infiltrated people's bioneural fields. It has, infiltrated technology and exploited technology, but it's not technology. It's not an actual artificial intelligence technology that was created by organic beings here. It is a pervasive signal that now broadcasts itself through relay systems that it has tricked organic beings into creating for it. This is something that these more technologically and spiritually advanced beings can deal with. Many, many, many lower tech civilizations that are 1,000 years more developed than ours on the surface are subject to having to deal with this threat.
Okay, this is a completely different. Cobra, can you comment on, have you heard of it, this other kind of universal AI intelligence? Corey has stated that this intelligence lays nascent and hiding, and then comes out influences organic beings to create technology that it can then live inside, can actually be in a computer. If you touch a technology, it can infect you, and then it can recede from you. It has its own intelligence, he said. Cobra, can you confirm this? Can you say that you understand this, or do you have a different view?
Okay, my understanding is that this is plasma consciousness that can use technology as a vehicle of spreading the virus. And I could confirm that this virus has infected one part of this galaxy, one part of the Andromeda galaxy, and one part of the M33 galaxy in Triangulum, and to a very, very limited degree, certain other galaxies in the local cluster of the galaxies. I can only also say that the resistance movement has dealt with that issue, and for their own society, they have handled the issue. So if somebody would like to enter the resistance movement, they need to go through a certain cleansing process. It is something like a shower. You need to take a certain shower that removes all part of that signal before you can even enter their region below the surface. And they have also assisted quite much in removing this from the surface. They have not been 100% successful, but they have been very successful. And they have actually introduced certain technology into shower gels through certain multinational corporations. And people using those shower gels were actually, they were being assisted in the removal of that virus, that signal. And again, it was not 100% successful because the Chimera group have their own means in maintaining this. And it is the easiest way for them to maintain this is with people who are the most mind-controlled and the most under the plasma influence.
There is a plan as a part of the natural process of what's going to occur with the energetic waves coming in to our solar system through our sun. There's going to be an event that's going to completely purge the signal from our solar system at some point.
This is exactly what I'm speaking about the removal of this plasma scalar field, removal of Yaldabaoth, of this octopus entity, and this is exactly the event. When this plasma field is removed, that is the moment of the compression breakthrough.
A solar event that's going to cause a lot of issues with electrical equipment and stuff like that, but it's going to be what's needed to push that signal out while they're reintroducing some other very advanced technologies that will not be as vulnerable to this signal.
That will kind of put a shield up for us. That's great. One more question on this for you, Cobra, was he said that this is the interdimensional part. You were saying it's connected, it's a technology, it can be turned off. From what you guys are describing, this signal's still going to exist, but it's going to be pushed off the Earth, but it's still involved in other parts of our supercluster and various galaxies.
Well, what's occurring is these advanced groups have created a dampening field that does not allow the signal to broadcast within the sphere of this dampening signal is what most of them do. And I guess it's a shield of sorts. Effectively neutralizes the signal.
Okay, according to my sources, the increased activity of the galactic central sun is precisely the means to erase that signal from the galaxy. So the increased flow of particles, and I'm speaking of physical and non-physical particles and waves of energy, it is a purging effect that will actually clean the whole galaxy. This signal will not exist anymore anywhere. It's an anomaly, it's an aberration, and it will be removed. And this is what the Gnostics speak about when they say correction of the original sin. And the original sin is actually the anomaly which needs to be corrected, and it's corrected with this new energy which will heal the distorted space-time structure and this signal, which is just one aspect of the cosmic anomaly.
The information I've heard is that galaxy-wide, the signal will usually return after 1,000 years, which is not, galactic-wide is not very much time after different galaxies have had their galactic emanations. It's a pervasive problem, but it's one that can be managed, especially as, we progress spiritually and technologically and catch up to these other groups.
Okay, thank you. I had a brief conversation with Alex Collier recently. I'm going to do another interview with him, and he was more along the lines of Cobra, that's a technology type of thing, and kind of said that it's from his understanding with his conversation with the Andromedans that it's different. So I guess we'll have to wait 1,000 years, and hopefully disclosure will reveal a lot of this information for us. I wanted to go into, since I was going to save it for later, but we talked about the clearing of this energy from the heliopause with a system. Dr. Frank Strange has also spoke about this at a certain point in time, and I want to talk about the cleansing technology. He maintains that when he went on board the ship Victor 1 with Commander Valiant Thor, that he kind of walked through, it was like a magnetic field kind of thing that cleansed him before he could go on board. His clothes were taken off and this type of thing. I've also heard from the past Atlantean, some transcripts I've read, that they take this artificial intelligence thing very seriously. Fred Bell had indicated to me, as well as Bob Renaud on the TerraCore files, has indicated that when an ET who has been serving in the Earth situation, before they're allowed to go back to their planet, they have an extremely security debriefing protocol, which is really more of a luminous and a soul energetic cleansing to make sure this AI is not in there. Have you, either of you, can you confirm this technology has been around for a long time, and a lot of worlds are very, very concerned when people come about this? Corey first, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. We were warned and warned and warned by these different non-terrestrial groups not to mess around with this AI signal or these different artificial intelligence technologies that developed from information that we received from this interdimensional AI signal.
Of course, the ICC and the Nazis disregarded, and that's our state.
Yeah. And not only that, they started using this AI's probable future technologies to help them stay one step ahead. There's so many times we heard, the cabal's going to go down, there's going to be mass arrests. Well, they've been able to stay one step ahead of a lot of the alliance moves with this technology, but this technology has not been working for them recently. So that's another thing that's thrown them into disarray. They've become so heavily reliant on this probable future technology. And it's not just, using remote viewing and all these different things that they're now falling back on. They used to have all these different ways of looking at probable futures, but these certain factions became so reliant on this AI probable future technology that now they're in chaos because it's not working for them.
Cobra, can you comment on the positive light workers that go through? As you say, the resistance members make humans go through that. Is there any of the resistance or the positive ET technologies, when their groups are down here and they go back up, do they have to go through this cleansing as well? It's not really like you consciously engage this stuff. It comes into you subtly through your subconscious. Is that correct?
For the resistance members that come to the surface and go back, it's quite a process. They go, as I said, through something that looks like a shower, then to go through a shower, which is actually a scanning device, and it scans their physical body, etheric body, plasma body, astral body, mental body, everything, and removes every kind of infection before they can enter. And then, of course, they have the medical check. They have other checks before they can enter again. And this is quite a procedure, and this is why they don't like to come to the surface, because they know when they come back, they have to go through all that process. And the surface of the planet is infected, and they know that, and they are very careful about this. The technologies to disinfect the surface will be available at the time of the event, not before. When the light forces have more power than the occupation forces, this is when the technology breakthrough will happen at the same time as the event. I was not speaking about this before, but there are certain technologies that the resistance has and other light forces have that will be brought to the surface at the moment of the event that will disinfect the surface from many things. This is one part of the compression breakthrough. So the living standards on the surface are artificially low also because of this. This infection creeps into the consciousness of human beings, and this is why they are so depressed, so uninspired. And I would say the vast majority of human conflicts that are happening are engineered. They are not real. And this is all orchestrated by this technology.
Well, this is wonderful. It confirms a lot of information that I've had. You guys have both confirmed that this technology exists.
I realize I didn't answer your question directly, but yes, full spectrum decontamination is a standard operating procedure for just about any group when you're mingling with a group other than yours, or you're going out of a controlled environment into what we will call an alien environment for them.
Yes, I've also heard they have extensive psychological questions and answers even after this screening. That they're very involved with.
Yeah, we do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. So that's it, folks. We can look forward to some, I guess we could call them virus showers. I'll get in line, and I don't care if we're out of hot water. I want one. So that's very interesting. I'm glad we cleared up this information in regards to the AI intelligence there for you folks. My suggestion that I talked about long ago in 2012 on Cobra's portal was, my understanding is that it feeds off the mind and your focus. So you can starve this field through entering into the silence, and you have the will of your own thoughts and your own decisions to disregard these negative impulses if you hold fast to a virtuous life. So here we have another question that kind of relates to this event, breakthrough plasma field clearing of the Earth. It was noted on the official NASA website. We've talked about this energy and the cosmic winds coming from the sun. On the internet, it showed that the magnetic fields of the Earth actually kind of went into kind of a calm state. Can either of you comment on that recent event? Was that a technological thing that didn't register, or was this an actual change in the Earth's magnetic fields that took place recently? I think it was about within a week to 10 days ago.
Well, yeah, the Earth's magnetic field is connected directly to the sun's. And as the sun is going through these different changes, as the cosmic energy is funneling in through it, through the cosmic web, there's going to be interaction